Good evening, Tallahassee. This is student meteorologist Spencer Bum reporting live from Tallahassee. We're going to be taking a look at a quick overview of what we're going to be talking about this evening. So right now we can see we have a gorgeous look over the setting sun. Don't forget we did have our clocks changed, so we are 1 hour behind tonight for the first night, or second night actually. So here, gorgeous sunset, 82 degrees. Today we haven't had really much any rain or precipitation to talk about. Really, it's been like that for most of the month. Just some storms down there by Gainesville. And tonight in Tallahassee, we can expect temperatures in the mid to low 60s, around 64 degrees, with a wind out of the south-southwest at 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, we can expect much of the same, although some breezier conditions ahead of possible tropical storm Nicole, 85 degrees and partly cloudy. And for the rest of this evening, we are going to be talking about some winter weather happening in the northwest, the latest on subtropical storm Nicole, and some potential local impacts from storm Nicole.
That's right. Thank you, Spencer. We have a lot to talk about here on FSU Weather tonight with, of course, the big headline being subtropical storm Nicole, which formed earlier this morning just off to the east of the Bahamas here. And actually really something to look at here, or at least where we're at in Florida, specifically in North Florida. But at least right now it's forecasted to make its way into southeast Florida probably near Miami-Dade or near West Palm Beach area, where perhaps it could even make a shot at a hurricane. But of course, that's more if it actually can develop a center of circulation. But we'll talk more about that here on the Tropics segment, at least here soon on FSU Weather. But now I'll turn things over to the wall with Ryan.
Thank you so much, Sharon. As Spencer showed a little bit earlier, we've got gorgeous sunset over Doe Campbell Stadium tonight. I don't know how to feel about this time change. It happens once a year, and I'm always a little conflicted about what to think. It's always like, that's a shock to the system, right? Sitting at 83 degrees right now in the capital city, 80 degrees out in Monticello, sitting at 76 in Thomasville. So we are kind of warmer for this time of night, and you notice with our temperature overall tonight that it's going to be a little bit warmer. So our dew points, we're seeing kind of on the humid side. So if you're going out and about tonight, you'll notice it's kind of more humid than it's been lately. And I definitely missed when it was less humid a few weeks ago when we had temperatures staying in the 30s. Right now, seeing it about a dew point of 60 degrees in Tallahassee. Our dew points are a little more humid near Apalachicola and the coast, so definitely just building up that sweat, that's not too fun. So wind direction, we are seeing some pretty gusty winds throughout most of the area. We're seeing about 7 miles an hour, so if you're going out and about, it seems a little breezy. That's actually kind of nice, keeping us a little bit cooler. 88 degrees was the high temperature today. So we did break that record of 86 degrees. It was a hot day throughout Tallahassee today. Our low temperature was only 69 degrees, so we stayed warm throughout the day today. Our average is 75, so we were about 13 degrees above average, which is quite unusual. You notice with our satellite and radar that we are staying pretty dry. We did have some showers and storms earlier that are still kind of pushing their way through Gainesville and parts of Alachua County. Those are going to push off, as you notice with Futurecast. We are going to see a couple spotty showers pop up through Leon County during the day tomorrow. Those will be quick and pretty isolated, keeping our rain chances pretty low. 66 degrees is the overnight forecast for tonight in Tallahassee, and most of the area is sitting in the mid to upper 60s. So our day planner forecast is looking really great. 65 degrees out the door tomorrow. If you've got an early class or just out and about, 65. There is an eclipse as well. 73 degrees by 9 o'clock, so warming up, and we're staying pretty warm throughout the day tomorrow. Just down to 78 by tomorrow night. All across the area, we are seeing with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. So we are quite warm for this time of year. It could be another above average and maybe even record-breaking type of day. Now I'm going to pass it off to Ale for a look at the rest of the area.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Yeah, we're going to be zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, what's happening throughout all of Florida. Well, folks, it's cloudy. Orlando, Florida, looking like it's raining, actually, with just that really overcast sky. Similar story for Miami and for Tampa. Folks, just that blanket of clouds hanging over them. But for us here in the Panhandle, Panama City Beach looking stunning with that great sunset. Looking at those temperatures, it looks like 70s, 80s, and even some 60s across the board. We have 69 in Gainesville with that cloud cover. Going down the Florida Peninsula, we see mostly high 70s, low 80s. And once you get up here in Tallahassee, it's a little bit toastier. Look at that, at 82, folks. It's just been such an abnormally warm fall for us. And we can see that especially with our dew points. It's just so moist throughout the whole peninsula. It's just sticking out like a green thumb, folks. I know your bananas are probably getting nice and ripe and brown because of that humidity, folks. It is just 60s, not really pleasant, and just not normally what we see for this time of year. Looking at that radar, we do see some scattered showers coming in from the Atlantic throughout the Florida Peninsula, bringing in some scattered showers like Ryan mentioned over here in Gainesville, and some persisting down in Miami. But for us folks up here in the Panhandle, it's quite clear. You know, great conditions to go outside, take advantage of this fabulous, fabulous night. If you're going down to Miami, folks, for the next 3 days, it's going to be 85 with a 40% chance of rain. But that rain chance is actually going to get stronger as Tropical Storm Nicole gets closer. It's going to be 79, 84 with that rain chance growing. It's going to be not the best conditions if you're going down to the wonderful city of Miami. If you're going westward to Tampa, it's going to be 85 again. Similar story with those rain chances increasing until you get to Thursday when subtropical Nicole is expected to be barreling through. 100% chance of rain, folks. It's just not looking great there either. That's going to be a similar story also in Orlando. That's going to be saying the same thing. 30% chance, 80, then 100% chance, folks. And I know they're already having a flood warning with that St. Johns River, so if you're in Orlando, watch out. Flooding is going to be possible with this storm. Going up to Jacksonville, they're going to be getting less of the effects of Nicole with them kind of only having Thursday to look out for with that 100% chance of rain. And it's going to be cooler on Wednesday, 68, those breezes that are going to be coming with that subtropical storm. And looking over at the Panhandle, 85, 74, 78, and they're really not going to be facing any of those effects of subtropical Nicole. It's going to be mostly partly cloudy and cloudy conditions with really low precipitation chances. Really wonderful there. And looking at the next 3 days, you can see that green just absolutely coming in, blue, and even some red throughout the Florida Peninsula. It's going to be really nasty rainfall for them. Tonight's forecast, a little bit different story. Again, it's the calm before the storm. It's going to be 60s, 70s, great temperatures. And looking at tomorrow, again, calm before the storm. You're going to see 70s, 80s. And why don't we look over at the southeast, Spencer? How is that going to affect the southeast?
Thank you, Ale. So like you said, we do have quite a bit going on. So right here we can see some pretty lovely temperatures across much of Florida, sticking mainly in the 70s, as well in 79 in New Orleans, and just poking quickly into the 80s, 81 in Jackson, Little Rock, and Shreveport. So taking a look at our wind speeds and directions that we're observing right now, so Monday around 6 o'clock p.m. So you can see we do just, it's kind of hard to see, but we slightly down at the edge have some circulation which can be attributed to subtropical storm Nicole. That's why we are seeing some higher wind speeds out in Orlando and closer to Miami. But a little bit west of Florida, looking at pretty calm winds, 5 miles an hour in Montgomery, 11 miles an hour in New Orleans. And our current radar. So much of the southeast, particularly in the Florida Panhandle and a bit more west, as well as parts of northern Georgia, have been in a bit of a drought. So we really haven't seen virtually any rain in these areas for quite a little bit. So just a few little pop-up showers just across the state. So here we can take a look at some water vapor. These darker colors indicate more moist conditions, and these warmer colors are drier air. So you can see here this dry air being wrapped in around, or sorry, into subtropical storm Nicole, which is just off screen. And this bit of a moist patch up there, that is some of the outflow from subtropical storm Nicole, which will be making its way toward the United States in the coming days. So our relative humidity, so this is pretty self-explanatory. It's how humid it is relative to the temperature. Looking at pretty nice conditions, very low for Florida, I should say. 49 in Tampa, 64 in Orlando, and 47 here in Tallahassee, with 68 up in Charlotte. And our heat index. So this is how hot it feels on your skin. We're looking at pretty similar, just a little bit warmer. 82 in Tallahassee, 79 in Orlando, 74 in Nashville, and 84 in Jackson. So our Storm Prediction Center outlook, so this is any potential severe weather that may be coming across our way. We can see just a slight, non-severe, so just some storms possibly in much of the Great Plains area. And for our active alerts, so we have quite a bit going on here, specifically in the state of Florida. So down here, these pink colors are indicative of a hurricane watch. So this is possible hurricane-like conditions in the next 48 to 72 hours. We do have tropical storm warnings here along the northern part of the Florida coast, tropical storm watches here more in the peninsular part of the state, and here this white is a hurricane tropical weather statement. So it's basically just giving us a more detailed look about regional impacts in those areas. And for the Storm Prediction Center Day 2 outlook, we can see just a little bit more, some more storms here and down in southeastern Florida. And looking ahead for tomorrow, we can see some temperatures just similar to today, mainly in the 80s and 70s, 82 in New Orleans, 85 in Miami, 86 here in Tallahassee, and 77 degrees up in Atlanta. We're going to be passing things off to Nicholas with a look at our national weather.
Thank you, Spencer. So yeah, national, there's two main things you got to be looking at. As Ryan was saying earlier, in the southeast, we actually have record high temperatures all throughout, from Texas all the way up to the New England region. We are looking at temperatures in excess of 2 or 3 degrees than what we're used to. So we're going to continue to see those higher temperatures. Here in Tallahassee, it's 82, and in Washington, 72. But over in the west coast, there's a low pressure system bringing in some moisture and cold weather. So it's going to be dropping the temperatures in Seattle and Billings. Right now it's 29, and in Bismarck it's 28. But looking at our current dew points, look at that brown, looking like a brown banana. It's very dry, and this is that cold front that I was talking about. It's going to be making its way down south. So right now here in the southeast, we are seeing really humid conditions, dew points in the 70s and 60s, as you can see here in Tallahassee. But you can see as that cold front is going to make its way through, those dew points will drop. And for our upper level water vapor, you can see this line of moisture is coming through. That's that low pressure system up here in the Pacific Northwest that's actually caused by an atmospheric river that we're going to take a look at right here. So essentially what's happening is moisture is being brought up from the Pacific, and it's dumping it all up in the Vancouver, Portland, Oregon area. And so they're going to be experiencing a lot of rain. While here in the East Coast, we're going to be seeing some slight rain, but not that much as the West Coast. But the temperatures should lower due to that cold front. As for our drought monitor, looks kind of splotchy again, like a brown banana. Very dry. Nearly the whole country is under some sort of drought watch or drought in the drought monitor. Luckily, for most of the West Coast, we're going to be seeing some reprieve to that due to that rain that's going to be dumped in due to the atmospheric river. The SPC storm outlook, due to that cold front that's passing through Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, are going to be seeing some non-severe outlook. And for the West Coast in San Francisco and Oregon, they're going to be seeing some rain as well. And for our active alerts, there's quite a few. Down here in Florida, there's quite a bit from subtropical storm Nicole. And out here in the west, as we're going to take a look in right now, there's many types of alerts. So in Nevada, there's high wind watches and warnings. This is a watch. And for most of the Oregon and Northern California, we're looking at winter weather advisory and winter weather warnings. And over there in Billings, Montana, and in Salt Lake City, we're looking at more winter weather. And in North Dakota and South Dakota, there's actually a winter storm alert. So the difference between the winter weather advisories and the winter storm alerts are that a storm signifies over 5 inches of snowfall, while the winter weather warning is less than 5 inches. Now for our satellite and radar, there's actually not much precipitation going on right now. This cold front is bringing just some slight rain to the southeast, but most of the activity is right here up in the north, in the Pacific Northwest. But as I was saying, there's just some thunderstorms here between Texas and Oklahoma due to that front. But other than that, the southeast is looking pretty clear. And for our Monday night football, Saints and Ravens, 5-3. The 5-3 Ravens are going over to the 3-5 Saints. Hopefully the Saints can turn it around. But they're playing in New Orleans in the Superdome, so the weather won't be much of a factor. New Orleans, temperatures are looking pretty nice for the next few days, topping off at the 80s and in the lower 60s. And for tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be pretty warm in the southeast, but in the Pacific Northwest, it'll stay pretty cool.
Thank you, Nicholas. So now we're going to take a look at your local forecast. It's currently 82 and clear. We had near record temperatures today. I'm not sure if we actually set a record, but if we weren't, we were close. The sun has now already set because it's past daylight savings time now, and we're not going to see the sunset on the show again until March 20th, which is the first show after spring break. But currently in our area, it's 78 degrees in Tallahassee. We're in the 70s area wide. Our cool spots are along the coast. It's 73 in Apalachicola. Our warm spot is 80 in Bainbridge right now. It is very warm for this time of the year. And tomorrow we get to continue another warm day, 88 degrees. That's going to be very close to a record high if it's not a record high. However, after tomorrow, we are going to start to cool things off as we start getting clouds from subtropical storm Nicole. But tonight it's going to be 66 degrees and clear. This is way above average for this time of the year. This is only a few degrees below where our average highs are, and almost 20 degrees above where our average lows are. It's going to be warm. It's going to start getting more humid as the storm gets closer, so it's definitely going to feel more like September than it's going to feel like November. If you're going out tonight, though, 72 at 9 p.m. and only down to 69 by 1 a.m. It's going to feel like it should feel like during the day during November, and it's going to be nighttime. So that tells you how warm it is right now. But as you look at tomorrow's weather, we warm up into the 80s tomorrow. We're going to hit higher than 81, but it's going to be afternoon before 6. We're going to get into the mid-80s tomorrow. We're going to be close to another record high. It's going to be well above average all day. But it is going to stay dry, so it will be a good day to get outside. But it's going to be 84 degrees tomorrow in Tallahassee, and it's going to be a nice day to be driving around. But Jacksonville, you're closer to the tropical system. It's going to be breezy on Tuesday, but you're not going to see rain. You're going to start seeing bands of rain on Wednesday, and then Thursday is going to be your main day for bands of rain. For Valdosta, it's going to be 83, but you're going to start getting outer bands on Thursday, and then for here in Tallahassee, we could start seeing a few outer bands on Thursday and getting more impacted by the storm on Friday. But now I'm going to pass things off to Aaron.
Thank you, Nico. And we'll turn now to the big story, of course, here, at least in Florida, with the tropics and what's going on with subtropical storm Nicole and the like, and how it might affect the state here, at least over the coming days or so. So we do have Nicole here, which just formed this morning as a subtropical storm, which, if you don't know what a subtropical storm is, it's basically not a fully tropical storm, so it's not what will be referred to as a warm core low pressure, so there's a little bit of cool air in the upper parts of the atmosphere. But anyways, we have Nicole here with this large swirl here, and most of the actual displacement of the winds are actually displaced from the center of the storm, which is why it's going to have a little, at least initially, probably today and into tomorrow, have a little bit of a hard time actually getting its act together, but we'll see over the coming days. We also do have Invest 97L here, kind of on the outer fringes of Nicole, and that will likely make its way off to at least off into the central Atlantic and probably not bother anybody else. But looking a bit closer at Nicole here, we do have that large comma shape, almost reminiscent of like an extratropical low as opposed to a tropical low. But then, of course, we do have 97L, which has a 60% chance of forming over the next few days. So where Nicole is situated at, this is the reason why it is categorized as a subtropical storm. So it's just barely near 80 degrees or so. As it makes its way over to Florida, we do have the chance for perhaps it could actually strengthen into a stronger tropical storm and actually become a consolidated tropical system over the coming days. But we will see that wind shear actually lighten up on the system. That will actually allow it to ventilate, so to speak, out and allow it to actually, take in that warmer heat or warmer air, and then able to exhaust it like a car engine here. And that's where we see that swirl here in the upper levels of the atmosphere here. As for water vapor, we have that brown banana color here on the dry air, or on the, I should say, that dry air wrapping around, not say Fiona, Nicole here with that comma shape here, and that's what's actually prohibiting it from developing further, at least initially. But you might see a little bit of a lapse in that drier air over the coming days. But Nicole, you see here, will actually probably get a little bit better organized according to our future radar model here, as it hits a wall, so to speak, with high pressure, and then dive off to the southwest here. This is where our model ends, but we do see, you can kind of see the trajectory where it's going towards probably South Florida, and likely will then recurve up to the north. So all of Florida needs to be paying attention to the system over the coming days as we continue on. So our 72-hour rainfall forecast here, we have most of the precipitation will likely fall on the eastern side of the storm here. So likely, at least for our friends over into Tampa, Orlando, Miami, are likely to see the worst of the actual rainfall from this event. Of course, we are now on Nicole now. That is our last name here, at least for the rest of the season. And if you're hurricane preparedness tips, make sure you do know your evacuation, because of course we are looking for perhaps life-threatening or potentially life-threatening events with storm surge. Make sure you review insurance policies. Make sure you take pictures before you if you do plan on evacuating. And understand National Weather Service terms and forecast products. Those are very important. That way you know actually what to do in the event of a hurricane. Have your emergency kit ready to go. Maybe have some brown bananas in there, and your go bag ready to go. And then also create and review an emergency plan just in case you need to actually enact it in the event that, at least if you do have problems with the actual storm. This storm will likely remain pretty weak, but of course you never know, because it is November and you can't let your guard down for hurricane season. But what's next on the itinerary, Alejandro?
Thank you so much, Aaron. So yeah, folks, tropical storms, you're still not letting up, but you know what is great tonight? These beautiful skies, folks. I know we've been talking a lot about brown bananas, and we're having sort of that vibe tonight with this incoming storm and such, but it's just looking like such a beautiful night for the Sportsplex and for St. George Island. Look at that full moon rising, Panama City, beautiful sunset, Lake Bradford, similar story. It's just a really great night, folks. Don't let these brown banana fools get you down. Go out tonight, enjoy the nightlife. It's going to be 70 degrees. Take advantage. Go to Madison Social. It's Monday Night Football, folks. It's going to be mostly clear with a nice wind out of the north at 5 miles per hour. And like you guys know, you've been going outside. It is hot, folks. Your bananas are getting so brown. It is 82 in Tallahassee, 74 up in Bainbridge, and mostly 80s across the boards for us here in the Panhandle, guys. It's not getting any cooler, and with that subtropical storm, it's only going to bring muggier conditions. As you can see with our dew points, 60 in Tallahassee, 60s, and even 66. Look at that, in Monticello. It is just so muggy here. Your bananas are getting so gross and brown, folks. It is just, you're just feeling sweaty when you're walking outside. 68 in Apalachicola. It's just really not the best conditions, you guys. But if you're going inside of air conditioning, the Tucker Center is the place to be. I'm sorry. And tonight's the night. It's Monday, 75 degrees for Florida State's men's basketball versus Stetson's. Hope we get that dub. And I know we have a great team, so I'm expecting that dub. If you're going out tonight and you're going to look at the stars, you have a beautiful full moon to expect. Great viewing conditions, guys. And we actually have a lunar eclipse tonight. So if you're going to be up around 2 or 3 a.m., you're going to see the last total lunar eclipse until, I believe, 3 years. So it's not the once-in-a-lifetime event, but it is quite a nice event. If you're going inside to Strozier to study, get ahead on finals, it's going to be 68. Bring a jacket. It's going to be chilly. You guys, I know we're feeling like a brown banana with all these tests that are coming up, but it's going to be nice in Strozier as long as you bring that jacket or you get a hot chocolate from our Starbucks. If you're flying, expect no delays. Again, beautiful conditions, and it's going to be the same story across the national outlook. Again, we have some storms in Dallas, but for the most part, we're going to be expecting no delays. If you're going to the beach, it's going to be 83 with winds out of the east at 10 miles per hour, cooler water temperature at 74. And if you're walking your dog, it's going to be 66 in the morning. Dress in layers because it's going to get toastier at 11 a.m. with 80 degrees, but it's going to stay sunny. And if you're going to still be outside and maybe biking, it's going to be 73 in the morning, 84 warming up to 3 p.m. And tomorrow, folks, we're looking for a beautiful day, partly cloudy again ahead of that storm. Don't let that brown banana feeling get you down, folks. It's going to be a beautiful couple days before that storm rolls through. And you know what, Nicholas? I'm wondering, how is it going to look locally for these next couple days?
Yeah, it's actually looking pretty nice, as you can see. So actually, for the first time this year in FSU weather, due to the time change, we're going to see it at night. And it's actually been a really nice sunset. Look at those pink colors and just very few clouds. And for our current temperatures, like we were saying earlier, it's pretty warm. Bainbridge, 80 degrees. For a night temperature, that's really warm. 78 in Tallahassee, 77 in Crawfordville. So we're going to be looking at pretty warm temperatures for most of the night. And for wind speed, we're going to have some slight breezes from the northeast. Tallahassee is going to have 7 miles per hour, Donaldsonville at 7 miles per hour, and Thomasville at 5 miles per hour. For our current radar, we have not much coming up. This is just some backscatter, possibly birds or bats, or maybe someone's throwing brown bananas in the air. So not much going on in the radar. As for cloud cover, very few clouds. We're going to be expecting a nice clear night, just some precipitation up here in southern Georgia. But other than that, things are looking pretty clear. And for tonight in Tallahassee, we're going to be seeing 65 and winds from the south-southwest at 5 miles per hour, partly cloudy. Really nice, pretty warm night for what we're used to in November. So if you guys are going out, it's actually really nice temperatures for a stroll. And for tonight's forecast, like I was saying, clear skies throughout. It's going to be a beautiful night to go and check out that lunar eclipse that Ale was talking about. Maybe I'll do that, I'm not sure yet. It's looking like you can see it anywhere in the southeast with all these clear skies. And again, warm temperatures at night, so it's going to be really nice weather if you are out to see the lunar eclipse. 67 in St. Mark's, 67 in Carabel. And if you are looking for the eclipse, this region is probably the best because of you are away from all that light pollution from Tallahassee, and it's very rural in this area of the Big Bend. And for our hour by hour, in the morning is actually going to be pretty warm than what we're used to. 6 a.m. is already 70 degrees, 7 a.m. 69, and then it just steadily makes its way up throughout the day into the upper 80s, 88. Definitely temperatures that would rot and brown your bananas. And so definitely going to be warm temperatures for tomorrow. As for our full week ahead, tomorrow is election day, so please go out and vote or not. You have that choice. And on Friday we have Veterans Day, so there will be some rain that day, so maybe we have to stay indoors, but at least we have a day off. Now I'm going to pass it off to Nico for At the Wall.
Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, we do have a lot to talk about right now going on in the weather. We do have a hurricane potentially forming from Tropical Storm Nicole. It's going to be something to watch. That's going to be our big story of the week. And that's going to be something that we really need to monitor the next few days. There are already hurricane watches up for southern Florida, hurricane watches for central Florida, and tropical storm warnings all the way up the coast, which means you're going to see tropical storm conditions in the next 36 hours. That's around the middle of the day on Wednesday. So it's time to start getting prepared now for subtropical storm Nicole. And always you need to monitor the forecast. Keep in mind, hurricane season goes to November 30th. You're not out of the woods yet. I know a lot of people probably thought we were done for the year, and we still have another tropical system coming in. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on this week. But up until then, we have good weather to prepare for that. So that's definitely good that we have that good weather. So anyway, you can always follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/FSUweather. You can like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/FSUweather. Always watch us live on YouTube like you are right now at FSU Weather. And you can always follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. And you can send us pictures. We will see them, and that will always be good. But now I'm going to pass things off to the wall for a last look at your...
Thank you so much, Nico. As you mentioned, leading up to subtropical storm Nicole, we do have some great weather ahead. Election day tomorrow, 10% chance of rain, so going out to vote, it looks like you're not going to run into any showers. So as we get into the day Wednesday, that's kind of like our last good day before we start to see our rain chances pop up with subtropical storm Nicole coming in. And then for your Veterans Day, it is looking a little rainy, but the weekend after subtropical storm Nicole looks great. I hope you have a great rest of the night. Thank you so much for watching FSU Weather.